Doflamingo will be freed by Imo and sent to make a deal with Crocodile. Crossguild will fight for the Secret King during the final war. That way, Zoro can have his duel with Mihawk when Luffy fights Imo. To become the world's strongest swordsman, Zoro will defeat Mihawk at some point. You would think they could fight whenever and wherever, but we are now in the final saga. Many things are going to happen that will keep the Strawhats busy. Zoro won't abandon his crew during those critical times. He won't fight an isolated battle for a mere title, while Luffy and the others fight to turn the world upside down. When he bowed down to Mihawk and asked for training, he made clear that the goals of his crew take precedent over his personal vanity. After Blackbeard, Akainu and Imo are defeated, there will be plenty of time, but putting Zoro's most exciting fight into the prologue wouldn't match the relaxed tone of that part of the story. This leaves Oda with no other choice than to have the Mihawk fight included in one of the coming big battles. When Luffy fights Blackbeard, Zoro will fight Shiryu. When Luffy battles Akainu, Zoro will fight an admiral, probably Fujitora. Shiryu and Fujitora are swordsmen, not the strongest though. The strongest will be saved for last. Therefore, Zoro will defeat Mihawk when Luffy fights Imo. Hawkeye got his nickname for his ringed eyes. Imo has such eyes too, the only thing we could see from his silhouette. Imo and Mihawk might share such a characteristic feature because they are the final opponents of Luffy and Zoro. I wonder which Straw Hat's final opponent Caribou will be. Right now, Mihawk has no reason to fight for Imo. He was known as the Marine Hunter in the past and is now again fighting the Navy. His new group is at war with the world government. Crossguild is led by former warlords that just escaped capture. In return, they issued bounties on Marines. The two forces could hardly be more antagonistic. Still, I believe that an understanding will be reached. Abolishing the warlord system turned out to be a big mistake. Marines could only capture one, the mentally challenged Weevil. The others not just escaped, 3 of them formed a new organization that is hitting back. Every day that they go after Marines, they are reducing the morale and reputation of the Navy. Akainu wanted to keep the warlords even though he hates pirates. The world government was in favor of preserving it too, otherwise they would have abolished the system themselves. It was still done away with because the kings decided against it. We know that the revelry is only a facade. All the power lies with the world government. Yet, they want to keep the illusion of a democracy of nations alive. Therefore, the revelry's decision won't be formally repealed, but bypassed. Imo will not reinstate the warlords. He will simply hire the Crossguild. When Luffy goes to marry Joa, he will be accompanied by the Revolutionary Army. Only fair that a force equal to Dragon's army aligns itself with Imo. Revolutionaries and Crossguild both wage war on the world government, but they are not the same. One is united by a shared mission, to topple the Celestial Dragons. The other group was created by chance. The former samurai don't fight out of conviction. They are mercenaries without common values. That means that they can be bought, that they are flexible in their allegiance. Crocodile and Imo can't just call each other. They lead their factions secretly, and they don't want to. There's a lot of mistrust between them. Crocodile worked against the government by searching for an ancient weapon. The world government put Crocodile in Impel Down and recently tried to arrest him again. Someone needs to mediate between them. Doflamingo knows both parties well. He was a warlord and a celestial dragon. He has secret knowledge that he used to blackmail the government, which likely means he knows of Imo. He can easily put himself into the shoes of the two leaders. He's a schemer like Crocodile, and he aspired to sit on the empty throne like Imo. In the past, he was one of the most powerful brokers of the underworld. He made deals with the likes of Kaido and Big Mom. He has experience handling powerful people who are at odds with each other. To play this role again, he has to first come out of prison. There will soon be a second Marineford War. Emperor Luffy will go up against Fleet Admiral Akainu. During the last Marineford War, there was a breakout. Marineford 2.0 could come with Impel Down 2.0. Crocodile was one of the escapees. He knows the prison and could devise a plan to bust Doffy out. His organization is made up of former warlords. Doflamingo would seem to fit in well. The nominal leader, Buggy, is just a figurehead who can be manipulated. Perfect for a puppeteer like Doflamingo. Problem is, they already have one mastermind in Crocodile. Mihawk is passive. He is letting Crocodile do his thing. Doffy might interfere with Crocodile's plans. Too many cooks spoil the broth. Crocodile might not want the heavenly demon in his group. When Doflamingo offered him a partnership at Marineford, Crocodile harshly declined. During Marineford, there wasn't just a breakout. Magellan also released a dangerous prisoner in response to Blackbeard infiltrating the prison. This could be replayed instead. Imo could set Doflamingo free to aid him against Luffy. Doffy only hates the word nobles because he was denied a return to Marijoa. If he were made a proper celestial dragon again, he might be willing to fight on their side, especially when their enemy is Luffy, who ruined his plans. Shiryu worked for the government when he was put into a cell and became a pirate after his release. Doflamingo was a pirate when he was arrested and would turn into a government agent after. Crocodile was a Doflamingo wannabe, a warlord who tried to take over a country. He failed, while Doflamingo did it successfully. Doffy in turn was an Emu wannabe. His ambition was to become king of the world, to take Emu's place. Just like Doflamingo tried to recruit his emulator at Marineford, Emu will try to recruit the one emulating him. Contrary to Crocodile, Doflamingo will accept Emu's offer. Doffy predicts that the world government will send assassins after him. That is a false trail. Oda is creating expectations to subvert. Imo will send someone, but not to kill, rather to set him free. Last time Shiryu was set free, he had been put into a cell for killing prisoners. Now instead of sending an assassin like Shiryu to end Doflamingo, he will be treated like Shiryu by being released. The similarities between Crocodile, Doflamingo and Emu will also be reflected in their arcs. Just like Dressrosa paralleled Alabasta, the Marijoa arc will parallel Dressrosa. Emu will wait for Luffy in Pangaea Castle, just like Doflamingo waited in the Dressrosa Palace, and so on. Crossguild fighting for Emu would be another parallel. Doflamingo had used sugar to turn people into slaves. When they were freed against his will, sugar tried to transform them again, but when that failed, Doffy got many of them back on his side by issuing bounties on Strawhats and allies. Emu had the warlords work for him until they were fired by the Reverie. The navy then tried to catch them but failed. Emu will get them back on his side with money and perhaps additional promises. What makes this connection even stronger is the following. The Crossguild was only formed because the downfall of Doflamingo led to the abolishment of the warlords. Doflamingo's forces could only be defeated through the help of toys turned back to their human forms. Both the toy liberation and the end of the warlord system were brought about with the help of Fujitora. The admiral held back his full power against the Strawhats and thus enabled them to beat Doffy. He later went to the Reverie where he denigrated the warlord system to pave the way for its end. King Doldo was also involved both times. Just like Doflamingo, the Crossguild issued their own bounties. They put money on the heads of marines. Kid informed us about this. He complained about Luffy being an emperor and then said that the person that pissed him off the most was Buggy. When Doflamingo announced his bounties, he said that Ussop angered him the most. Both times when someone other than the navy released bounties, someone was singled out as being the most annoying. First Ussop and then Buggy. Should Crossguild and Strawhats clash, Ussop versus Buggy is just as set in stone as Zoro versus Mihawk. The two are liars with funny noses, one too long, the other red, and inflated bounties. I will make a separate video on all the final matchups.